Shalom, welcome to another video, and as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, and next double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the great millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of whether people hear or whether they forbear. Alright, this lesson is going to be going into the dark truth behind the origins of the holiday that most people in the world know of as Thanksgiving. Alright, so I got this article pulled up, and I'm going to bring out some scriptures. I meant to make this video yesterday, but I had a busy day, work and everything. But hey, we're here now. That's all that matters. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. Alright, so I got this article from Delish.com. Alright, it says the dark truth behind the origins of Thanksgiving. The real story isn't what you learned in school. Alright, it says most Americans are taught the same story about Thanksgiving, that pilgrims sat together with Native Americans to share a meal and thank them for helping with a successful first harvest. Bonus points if the story you learned also includes an appearance from Squanto or a lesson in fertilizing crops with fish. But most popular retellings of the first Thanksgiving have been proven to be riddled with mistruths. While you may know that on some level, what's not often discussed is the truth about the holiday's history and the effect it has on many Native Americans. Okay, so it says, so consider this, just that, an updated history lesson. Okay, and that's what we're all about, because as Apostle Gabar always says, in order to understand the mystery, you must understand the history. Alright, so we're all about history. It says, learn why some people choose not to celebrate Thanksgiving and how you can support Native people during the holiday season and beyond. And that's what we're all about as well. Okay, supporting, the Northern Kingdom, our brethren. All right, it says, so what's the real story behind Thanksgiving? You probably have some vague idea that the Thanksgiving holiday is not quite the rosy picture you read about in school. But the real origins of the holiday are not clear-cut either. We'll give you the best glimpse at what we know, but note, there's a lot of information to digest about this issue and a few supposed origins of the holiday, some of them conflicting. This is the most commonly researched and reported story. Alright, so it says, according to New York Times, the Mayflower did in fact bring settlers from England to the land which they colonized and renamed Plymouth, Massachusetts. In 1621, those pilgrims did hold a 3-day feast, which was attended by members of the Wampanoag tribe. However, typically, when these settlers had what they referred to as Thanksgiving observances, they actually fasted. So this feast and celebration was known as a rejoicing, according to the New Yorker. With that in mind, this meal actually being viewed as the first Thanksgiving is up for debate with experts. Though there might have been turkey or some other type of poultry served, there was no pie or mashed potatoes as we had today. They would have probably had seafood as well as a Wampanoag dish called nasump, a porridge made of cornmeal which the settlers had adopted. Alright, let's see. It says the Smithsonian points out discussions of this event are often centered around the settlers, but Native Americans had been on the land for centuries before, and the story from their perspective obviously far predates this feast. It says when Europeans began coming to what is now known as the United States about 4 years before the Mayflower arrived, they carried foreign illnesses which deleted Native people at exceedingly high rates. That then made it easier for colonizers to take over these lands. There's also the fact that settlers came to the land to kidnap and sell Native Americans into slavery, which is what we talk about. Okay, this is going back to the curses. The same thing that happened to the Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negro tribes, happened also to the Northern Kingdom, the so-called indigenous tribes. It says the newly settled Europeans also did not invite the Native Americans to their feast. Osumakin, leader of the Wampanoag tribe, had declared an alliance with the settlers, and members of the tribe were showing up to honor a mutual defense pact. They heard the pilgrims shooting their guns in celebration and thought they were in combat. After some talk, they decided to spend 3 days together enjoying the feast, but this type of coming together did not become a warm and fuzzy tradition as you may have been taught in school. From then on, pilgrims celebrated Thanksgiving in their traditional way of fasting and praying, according to the New Yorker. Several times this happened because of the massacres of native people, including in 1637 when Massachusetts colony governor John Winthrop declared a day of Thanksgiving after volunteers murdered 700 Pequot people. See, so and the main tribe that people think of, the Pequot. Okay, they were same thing, completely decimated, just like the vast majority of the so-called natives here in America, Babylon the Great. All right, so that's a devil for you. Okay, you massacre a tribe of people, and then you have a celebration about it, and this is what people are celebrating. All right, this incident is also often cited as the first official mention of a Thanksgiving ceremony, and is another commonly cited origin story for the Thanksgiving we know today. It says various dates of the modern day Thanksgiving holiday have been declared since then and were celebrated by individual states, but it wasn't until 1863 when President Abraham Lincoln declared the last Thursday in November as a day of Thanksgiving, and the holiday as we know it stuck. It says, why is Thanksgiving still controversial? The atrocities against Native Americans did not end with the diseases or massacres mentioned above. So seeing people celebrating the positive quote-unquote myth around Thanksgiving can be frustrating and painful for many, especially indigenous people. Combine that with the fact that some non-natives choose to dress up in things like headdresses in honor, quote-unquote, of Thanksgiving, which many see as a mockery of sacred dress. However, like all groups, Native Americans are not a monolith and have different perspectives on Thanksgiving. For example, some tribes view the holiday as a national day of mourning, and they see it as a day settlers came to their land, spurring decades of violence and mistreatment. It says Thanksgiving Day is a reminder of the genocide of millions of Native people, the theft of natives' lands, and the relentless assault on Native culture, says the United American Indians of New England. They've marked the occasion as a day of mourning for 48 years. According to Native Hope, participants in National Day of Mourning honor Native ancestors and the struggles of Native peoples to survive today. It is a day of remembrance and spiritual connection, as well as a protest of the racism and oppression which Native Americans continue to experience. And I can keep reading on and on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring out the scriptures. All right. You got some history. Now we're about to bring out the mystery. Okay, this is Micah chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. Why? Because the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, as it says in Job 9:24. Okay, and it tells you, when it comes to these Edomites, it tells you, let's get a precept, okay, that they are not able to rest unless they cause someone to fall. Okay, this is Proverbs 4:16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. Okay, so that's just who they are. Okay, they can't help it. They were created to be the wicked. All right, let's go back. All right, Micah chapter 2 and verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. All right, so they covet fields, they desire lands that don't belong to them, and they take them by violence, all right, which we read about in the article. Okay, and so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Okay, they beat the heritage out of the so-called indigenous and out of the so-called Negroes. Okay, which they knew that they were speaking different variations of Hebrew at that time. Okay, we did a lesson at the Decalogue Stone in Los Lunas, New Mexico. Okay, where it's an ancient stone with Paleo-Hebrew writing on it. All right, and it's right on an Indian reservation as well. Okay, but that languages, a lot of them were lost. Okay, their customs were beat out of them. They were given English names. All right, so this is what it's talking about. Okay, it says verse 3, and here's the mystery. Okay, therefore thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. Okay, so the mystery is that the Lord is now preparing to bring judgment upon the oppressors. Okay, he's preparing for the nations to rise up against the hammer of the earth, America, Babylon the Great, and the nation that is in control, all right, which is Esau, Edom, okay, the so-called white man, the one who, wherever they go, okay, death, disease, all these things follow in mass numbers, all right. He's getting ready to bring this judgment upon them, okay. He said, against this family do I devise an evil, okay, the so-called white man, man, woman, and child, from which you shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, okay, because they're very proud. That word haughty means to be proud, arrogant. Okay, it says neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. Okay, you're not gonna escape this time. All right, you're not gonna get away. Let's get a precept. Let me get this right quick. Psalms 1, 2, 3, and 4. Psalms 123 and 4. It says, "Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorning of those that are at ease." Okay, because they're at ease right now. Okay, they've grown fat and waxing rich, okay, off of the atrocities that their ancestors, their forefathers committed, all right, and with the contempt of the proud, okay, they're known of as the proud, but the Lord said, you're no more going to be haughty, you're no more going to be proud, you're no more going to be arrogant, okay. Psalms 73, all right, it says, Psalm 73 and verse 5, "They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness, and they have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly. Concerning oppression, they speak loftily." Okay, so they're very arrogant, very cocky. All right, and that's, we constantly hear the scorn of these Edomites, but the Lord is getting ready to bring judgment upon them. All right, let's get another precept on that. Job 21. Okay, Job 21 and verse I'm gonna go ahead and get verse 19. It says, "The Most High layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty." Okay, so he's not gonna escape. All right, Esau's not going to escape in the times to come. All right, he's escaped. He said he is not in trouble as other men, neither is the rod of the Most High upon him. But the Lord said, I'm preparing an evil for this family, which they shall not be able to escape. So you're not going to get away. All right, the Lord has seen all of your wickedness is being exposed. Your nakedness is being uncovered, and now the time of judgment is near. Okay, this is Psalms 55 and 21. "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." Okay, so this is the mindset of an Edomite. Okay, he speaks smooth words, right? But his in his heart is war. Okay, he comes and he tells you good things. He wants to make a treaty with you. All right, he's coming to help you. All right, and then as soon as he feels like you're vulnerable, that's when he draws swords. All right, and we're the ones calling it out. And we're proclaiming the judgment the Lord is getting ready to bring upon them. Okay, this is Psalms 120 and verse 6. "My soul hath long dwelt with him that hateth peace." Okay, we've been up under these Edomites' hands for hundreds of years. All right, really even thousands of years if you count the Greeks and the Romans. All right, it says, "I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war." Okay, and we've the so-called natives and the so-called Negroes have tried to do nothing but be peaceful with Esau. All right, and what happens every single time? Okay, Esau, because he's the devil the Bible speaks of, okay, he steals, he kills, and he destroys. All right, that's what he was created to do. Okay, so the only one that can set him straight is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, that's what he's sending. His son Yahushai is going to come down, and he says he's going to splatter them like grapes. Okay, people that have that arrogance, that pride on them, the only thing they know is violence. So that's what the Lord is getting ready to bring. Okay, as it says here, let's get this precept. Ezekiel 35, they wanted blood, so that's what they're going to get. Ezekiel 35, and I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, "Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it." All right, that's what we're doing. We're telling you the mystery. We gave you the history, and now we're telling you the mystery of what the Lord is going to do to these different nations, but specifically Esau, Edom. All right, He says, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, okay, we're telling Mount Seir, which Mount Seir was the dwelling place of the Edomites. Okay, going back, I think it's back in Genesis 36 maybe. All right, and a mountain also represents a government. So the government of the so-called white man. Okay, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. So if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Okay, so this is the judgment the Lord has told us to go out and proclaim unto the Edomites. All right, to tell them what your judgment is getting ready to be. All right, since you have not hated blood, okay, blood is getting ready to pursue you. This is Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right, that's plain. This is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay, I don't need no breaking down. All right, this is what we're waiting for. This is what we're hoping for. Okay, Psalms 12:5, for the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy. Now will I arise, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him, because as long as we're under the rule of this madman, this damn maniac, or Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, we're never really safe. All right, you know, and a lot of jakes, because Esau hasn't been hanging us on trees for 20 years or so, 30 years, and really, hell, you know, they haven't done it in mass numbers, but I mean, it still happens all the time, every year, like to hundreds of people, right? And people think that they're safe. They think that this devil is their friend, okay? But they're getting ready to come down. That spirit of the dragon is getting ready to be raised back up, especially with DJT in office now, all right? And we're getting ready to see these things. History is about to repeat. It's going to play itself out again. But the Lord is going to deliver us this time, okay? Because he allowed this devil to do what he did as punishment for our disobedience. But now, okay, the punishment of our iniquity has been fulfilled. So now it's time to the Lord to raise up, all right, and to deliver his people out of the hands of our enemies, once again, as he's done in the times of old. All right, so let's get Psalms 10. Psalms chapter 10. Matter of fact, before I even get that, I'm going to get this. Luke 1 and verse 68. And it says, Blessed be the Lord, power of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies, and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he sware to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us, that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear, in holiness and righteousness, before him all the days of our life. All right, so that's the time we're coming into. Okay, and they call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It's long overdue. All right, the elect has been awoken for the most part. Now we're just patiently waiting on the deliverance. All right, this is Psalms chapter 10. Okay, and I'm just going to get a few scriptures out of here. Psalms chapter 10 and verse 2. It says, The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. All right. I'm going to skip down. Verse 6, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the poor, the innocent, His eyes are privily set against the poor constantly. That's all he thinks about. Okay, especially these elites, man. Okay, these Edomites. Okay, it's always on their mind, how to keep Jake in as low a state as possible. Okay, they really would love to just, pretty much like I said, run out and just start deleting as many Israelites as possible. All right, but the Lord, he's kept them at bay for a period of time, but they can't help it. It's in their blood. All right, it's in their spirit. It says, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, the Most High hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. And here's our prayer. Arise, O Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, O power. Lift up thine hand and forget not the humble. Wherefore, for what reason doeth the wicked contemn the Most High? He has said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. That's the mindset of an Edomite. Okay, thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Okay, and we are those poor. Okay, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And we've committed ourselves to the Lord, talking about the men, starting off with the men of the elect. Okay, the 144,000 and the men on down. All right. It says, break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear. To judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. All right, and that's what we're looking for. That's our prayer. Okay, that he hears us and he takes out the man of the earth, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, that he may no more oppress. All right, and this is Genesis chapter 49. This was prophesied, okay, by the forefather Jacob, okay, about Gad. Gad being the so-called North American Native American Indians. All right, Genesis 49:18. It says, I have waited for thy salvation, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Gad, a troop shall overcome him. Who's that troop? That's these Edomites. Okay, the so-called British. All right, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. All right, so at the last shall he overcome. Okay, and when is that going to be? That's when Yahushua returns, and he's going to raise up 144,000 men, okay, with spiritual power, right, to be able to go and be his weapons of war against these Edomites. Okay, and won't that be a wonderful and faithful day? So that's the time we're looking for the Lord to give strength unto the weak, all right, and to deliver us from our enemies. All right, so I'm gonna close out with that. Okay, Lord's will was edifying. You got the history and you got the mystery. All right, so as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash, and until next time, Shalom.